All right, so today we are doing a primer battle. I have one extremely pricey high-end primer here, and then one drugstore price primer by NYX. This is the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, and then the NYX Soft Focus Primer. I came across this NYX one in CVS and instantly thought of the Tatcha primer that I keep hearing so much about. Don't know how you can justify that expensive of a primer, but we're gonna put it to the test and see if this one is actually worth it, if it's better than this one, or if you can kind of go for the more affordable option. So I'm gonna be testing these side by side, doing a full day wear test, and I'm using them with my kind of go-to foundation combo so I can kind of separate out how the foundation is working versus how the primers are doing. I'm schwitzing in here. Whoa, it's hot. By the way, I accidentally cut the crap out of my eyebrow right here with an eyebrow razor this morning. Probably should have had more coffee before trying to shave my eyebrows. So if you're excited for this video and you enjoy while you're watching, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, you can join the Beirito family and subscribe. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'm gonna tell you guys quickly some of the claims about each one's and the price point. So the reason why I'm comparing these two and why this kind of reminded me of the Tatcha one is because both of these are balm primers. They're supposed to be very like smoothing, soft focus, filtery kind of primers. So you can pick up this Tatcha primer on Sephora. It retails for $52. Oh, that hurts. But you do get 20 grams of product. So you get quite a bit of product in here compared to the NYX one, which we'll talk about in a second. Expensive, but you get more product. It's a velvety priming balm of pressed silk that smooths and makes makeup last longer while basically keeping it out of your skin and preventing clogged pores and breakouts. It says it's actually a multitasking primer that you can use for the face, eyes, and lips, which is really interesting. I've never, I don't think, tried a primer that I could also use on my eyes. That makes me feel kind of good about the ingredients because if it's safe enough for the eye area, I don't know, that just makes me feel good about life. It's supposed to diminish the look of pores, fine lines, and imperfections for the perfect canvas before makeup. It says it's supposed to make your makeup glide on more evenly and last longer. Also minimize excess shine with a soft focus finish. I have dry skin, so I hope that this doesn't make me drier. I'm not trying to find like an oil controlling primer. That's the deal on the Tatcha one. Let's talk about the NYX one now. What the heck? So they were fully in stock of this at CVS. Like it didn't look like it was being discontinued or anything, but I just looked on Ulta's website and it's marked down for $1.24. I'm confused. It's still available on NYX's website for $10 and it's available on Target for $9.99. So the NYX primer retails for $9.99, so about 10 bucks, and you get 0.21 ounces of product or 6 grams. So if I'm doing that math right, you get more than triple the amount of product in the Tatcha one. So that would be, just off the top of my head, probably about $30, $35 for the same amount of product for this versus the Tatcha one. But this one isn't super cheap for the amount of product that you get. So this next one, the description is pretty brief on their website. It just says, create a flawless face and set your makeup for success with our new soft focus primer. A weightless silky primer balm delivers a translucent finish for a soft focus effect. It doesn't claim that your makeup is gonna last any longer like the Tatcha one does. And it also doesn't say it's gonna give me more coverage like the Tatcha one actually claims to give your foundation more coverage. What is my thumb doing right now? So here we go. I'm using a different lens today so that we can get super up close. So I'm gonna zoom in. I'm wearing a romper today, which is a new experience. All right, so I've washed my skin and the only thing I've put on it is my SPF. This is my La Roche-Posay. This is what I always use as kind of like my moisturizer and SPF in one. It's very moisturizing. So I haven't taken these out of the boxes yet, so we'll see how the packaging is. Let's first do the Tatcha one. This one off the bat feels much heavier and it's obviously a way bigger box. So this little box slides out. This is very fancy. Whoops, what was that? I like that this is fully sealed. That makes me feel good. It smells good. It smells like a spa. I'm not sure where the heck this thing, oh, maybe this is to dig out the product. Yeah, I think that's what this is. So here's what the packaging of this looks like. This is beautiful. Okay, before I open that, let's take the NYX guy out. Oh. Okay, not sealed, but it does come in a little plastic thing. So the NYX one is a basic kind of black compact. Then underneath here, you get a sponge. Screws off, doesn't flip open. So this one's also a nude color, but definitely looks a little bit lighter. I'm scared I'm gonna drop this right now and it's gonna like split in half. Okay, so I'm gonna do the Tatcha on this side of my face and the NYX on this side of my face. I'm gonna start out with the Tatcha, and for both of these, I'm just gonna use my fingers. In the past, when I've used balm primers, I much prefer using my hands versus like a sponge or something. I know some people like to kind of dig the sponge in and do it that way, but I just like to kind of press it into my pores and my face using my fingers. So let's start out with the Tatcha. It does smell like a spa, but it doesn't smell too strong. This one I can't smell at all. Maybe I need some coffee beans, clear out my nose palette, whatever it's called. Wow, I seriously went to town on this eyebrow. How did that happen? Most of my pores that stand out are definitely around my nose area. I have some up here too, but really when you see my pores, it's usually around my nose. I have the lights turned down and we are very up close. I don't put any kind of filters on my videos ever. I want you to be able to see my skin and see how it actually looks like in real life. So here is the before. Ooh, feels very silky. Doesn't feel greasy. It just feels kind of like moisturizing and silky, and you can't really see it. You can see like a slight tint on my finger, but it's not like super opaque. So I'm just gonna make sure that I don't have like any weird thing on the top and just get in there. So when you press, you can make a little dent. I just wanna get the product that's like actually in there. Sometimes on the top, you can have like a weird coating. So I'm gonna apply this all over my face, like as an all over face primer, but I wanna focus it on my pore area because that's where I feel like I need the most kind of like blurring and filling in. Feels really nice. Feels soft, but it doesn't feel greasy. Sometimes balms can feel like that, where it's just like, is a little bit too slick. I like my primers to have a little bit of tackiness. I feel like my foundation usually goes on better over top of that kind of base rather than like a super silky base. It says you can use this on your eyes, so I'm gonna bring this like under my eyes as well. Kind of moisturize under there. And I have sensitive eyes, so I'll notice for sure if that's irritating at all on the eye area. Feels moisturizing too. So now let's do my forehead. For the center, I'm gonna try and like half it right here. It's not like, you know, gathering or anything with my sunscreen. My sunscreen has been on for at least a half hour now, so it's like definitely soaked in. Ooh, that feels good. Has just the right amount of grip to it, but it still feels smooth. Right now, what time is it? Right now, it's almost exactly 12:30. So I'm gonna do a full day wear test. I'm gonna keep this one on as long as I can. So the glowiness, this side versus this side, seemed to take the glow down a little bit, maybe like half a notch, but it didn't mattify me, which I like. So I like that I can still see some of the glowiness of like my sunscreen coming through. My pores on this side versus this side to me don't look that blurred. My go-to pore filling primer is my Revlon pore reducing primer in the pink bottle, not the white one, get the pink one. That's amazing for filling in your pores and like blurring out that area. Right now compared to that, I wouldn't say that this is more blurring than that one. So this one feels very slick already. Definitely feels a little bit, I don't wanna say greasy, but it feels definitely more like moisturizing, kind of slick than the other one. I'm gonna do the same thing and kind of press down so I can get under there. And it looks more translucent right now on my finger. So let's start in the pore area again. Off the bat, this one feels definitely different. It feels more lightweight and it feels more slick for sure, but it seems to be absorbing into my skin really fast. I feel like that is filling in my pores better. I definitely prefer just how it feels on this side. Some people like that though. Some people like being able to just like glide your brush over really easy. Yeah, it doesn't have a scent at all. Again, I'm gonna half it right here. I'm getting like a little bit itchy on this side of my face. Yeah, it does look quite a bit more blurred. So this one I would say is more pore filling, but as far as being a base for makeup, for what I personally look for, this one so far, I would probably reach for this one over the other one, but again, I haven't put my foundation on yet, so we'll see. So for foundation, the combo I'm using is one of my go-to combos. This lasts amazing throughout the day. It looks beautiful on my skin. So I mixed the CYO Life Proof in 101 with Dermablend Smooth Liquid Camo in Linen. I'm gonna apply it with my Sigma F80 Flat Top Kabuki brush. I do still have the set available on Sigma. You get like a discount if it's bundled with a couple others. I'm gonna mix up this concoction. I wanted to definitely try these out with a foundation combo that I know how it wears and looks on my skin, so we don't have any surprises or we're wondering if it's the foundation or the primer. When I'm starting to apply the foundation, it's 12:36. This side of my face is kind of itchy. Hoping there's not something in here that's gonna like break me out. This actually feels less like slick than it normally does going on. I can feel it kind of adhering to the base. Since this one claimed to give the foundation more coverage, we'll see how it does compared to this side. That combo pretty much gives me full coverage on its own. Oops, I just got a little bit too much foundation. I'm gonna bring it over to this side. Okay, I can actually see a difference here. Hoping that's picking up on camera. It looks a little bit streaky or something on this side. I can see it sitting up here more now. It doesn't look bad up here. I can just see a difference though. Try the rest of my face on the next side. Oh, I can actually totally feel a difference. Wow. This one feels a lot more slick. How many times will I say slick in this video? But yeah, this side definitely feels, it feels almost a little bit oily. This feels like it is staying there, it's sticking. This feels slick. Can we have a slick count? This could be a drinking game. This side, it is a little bit streaky in certain areas, like on my forehead and then around my nose. Not applying quite as easy as this side did. Right between my eyebrows with this foundation combo, I usually take a sponge that's dry as like a finishing touch. I just press a little bit more right here to kind of smooth everything out, and that gives the most flawless effect. Kind of smoothing everything out with the sponge in certain areas, around my nose, upper lip, chin. Okay, so now that my foundation is on, I don't see a huge difference between pore blurring on either side. My forehead definitely looks better to me on this side. You can just see it a tiny bit more on this side. I'm being hypercritical right now because we're doing a review. I feel like on this side, my foundation is just like on my face. This side to me is looking slightly dewier. This side does look like it has a little bit better coverage. I wouldn't say it's like a major difference, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I do feel like I can see a little bit more coming through on this side slightly. So two things I want to see. I usually get a lot of creasing around my lip right here. It used to be on my upper lip. I don't get as much upper lip creasing anymore as I do around my mouth area, like when I talk or smile or whatever. Already, I am getting a little bit less on this side. Another thing, I did bring the Tatcha primer underneath my eyes because it says that you can. So we'll see if that makes any difference with my concealer when I apply it on top and creasing and things like that. And then I also want to see if to the touch these feel different. So I'm going to do that right now. Just going to give each one a light touch. Feel about the same. It just turned exactly 12:45, so that's when we're gonna call the check-in time for this. I'm gonna leave this on for about 10 more minutes before I start doing the rest of my makeup to see if I need to powder my face. I never powder my forehead. My foundation lasts fine on its own without powder on my forehead with dry skin, but I do usually apply some powder to this area so that I can blend stuff easier on top of it. So I'm gonna give it a few minutes to see if either side changes at all in the next 10 minutes and I don't need to powder, or just kind of like play it by ear. So I'm gonna see you guys after the rest of my makeup's on, and I'll let you know if I powdered and what the situation is. Okay, so it's now 1:53, so it's actually been on for over, did I start at 12:45? Yeah, over an hour. I just took my friggin' sweet time with my makeup today, just enjoyed it. I let my foundation stuff just kind of set for about 10 minutes before I went in with the powder. I did go in with my Physicians Formula. I just like lightly tap it just on this area. That's the only part of my face that I set besides under my eyes. I didn't touch up the rest of my face with powder or anything. And I've had a decent amount of time to look at my skin now for the last hour, and I can see a difference. I feel like this side actually looks better, which kind of shocks me because primer is one of those things that besides the Revlon pore reducing primer, I usually don't see a huge difference immediately with primer. It's more of one of those things that some of them throughout the day, I feel like my makeup holds on better, but it's rare that I see an actual like immediate effect with primer, which is why I really like the Revlon one. But this Tatcha one, I do see a difference. My scarring is kind of coming through more on this side, and I felt like when I was blending my bronzer and blush on, this side, my foundation was like staying there and I was applying the product on top of it. But this side, it did seem to be a little bit more almost like not removing the product underneath, but it did take away some of the coverage when I went to blend those products on top. The center of my forehead, like right here, looks friggin' bomb. Actually looks like I have like almost a filter on my skin. It's probably the most smooth and just like flat I've seen my skin. As far as creasing around my mouth area, this side is looking really good. There's not a whole lot of creasing happening. This side a little bit is starting right here, but I still feel like it's actually a little bit less than normal. Overall, just almost in like every area of my face, I feel like it just looks slightly better on the Tatcha side. I'll see how it holds up throughout the day and if one side wears better than the other, but I'm gonna tell you guys what I did for the rest of my face. So I tried out like a different eyeshadow technique than I usually do and just different brushes. I just kind of did like everything different than what I normally do, and I'm feeling it. I'm gonna keep like practicing this. Let me know if you guys want to see this look in like a shadow and schmooze or something. For all the matte shades, I use the Morphe 39A palette. Those are all the brown mattes. And then for this lid shade right here, I almost just poked my eyeball out. I've been loving using the Smashbox Casey Holmes palette for eyeshadow. I go in with this shade right here. That's all I used for that really pretty like light white shimmery kind of color. I put that a little bit on my inner corner too, and that's what I brought all the way like into the crease right there. For bronzer, I tried out the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. This is actually in the shade Medium Deep, and I like this better than the light one because it's less orangey. And then for blush, I use my Max Factor Nude Mauve. Highlight is CYO in the Cloud Shimmer Switch. This is such a pretty highlight. I've talked about this a lot before, and it's super affordable. I tried out this lipstick, which I haven't used in forever. I kind of forgot about it. First, I put on the LA Girl Nonstop Nude Liner, and then I topped it off with this Hourglass lipstick. And this is in the shade I Wish. Super pretty nude color. And look at this packaging. How freaking cool is this? Some NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil and Milk on my waterline. And then my lashes are the Dollar lashes, the Shop Miss A ones that I used in that video in Rita. The only reason why I remember that is because we kept losing Rita. The check-in time is 11:45. I'll probably do a check-in on my vlog camera in the next one so you guys can just see a difference not under this lighting. And then I'll check in at the end of the night. All right, so I'm right in front of the window right now in natural lighting. It's 5:06, so it's been on for over 5 hours now. And I actually did a little impromptu poll on Snapchat to see if you guys could see a difference in which one you thought looked better. And there was a very clear winner. I was kind of shocked. I didn't think you could notice that much of a difference, but literally about 99% of you chose this side, the Tatcha side. That is how I feel too. Even now, 5 years later, 5 hours later, I still feel like the Tatcha side is holding up better. There's just something overall that looks better. Everything looks more blended on this side. It just looks very flawless on this side of my face. The center of my forehead still looks great, like better than usual, I feel like. This combo, like I said, holds up really well on me, but I feel like it's holding up even better right now. So here's my forehead after 5 hours. Still looks nice and smooth. I also wanted to point out, oh, this is good light. Since I did bring the product up underneath my eye, I don't feel like I did anything for my under eye creasing with my concealer. That I always get. If you have lines there, your concealer is gonna crease, or at least mine does. But I do notice a difference where it blends in with my foundation. So where my concealer meets my foundation, if you look on this side, I hope it'll pick up on camera, it almost just like very smoothly blends in. And on this side, I feel like if you look really close, I feel like you can see more of a distinction between where the concealer is and where the foundation is. This side looks good for me. Usually I have a lot more creasing right there. This side, my line just might be a little bit more deep right there. But if you look, I'm definitely getting more creasing on the NYX side. Not gonna lie, I wasn't thinking I was gonna be this impressed by the Tatcha one because I feel like there are very few primers that I would pay $52 for. And I'm still not 100% sold on it, but right now it's looking really good. Romper update, peeing is not fun. That's what I've learned in these last 5 hours. Okay, so it's now the end of the night. It's 9:55, so it's been on for over 10 hours now. I think for having my foundation on that long, looks pretty dang good. Here's a look at both sides right now. Again, the same thing I'm mostly noticing with the concealer. Like my concealer looks a lot worse on this side. It looks like it's just stopped. And then like around my nose on this side, I feel like looks like it's breaking down and almost getting a little bit oily around my nose right there, which is weird. I don't usually get oily. I feel like my lip creasing is for sure less than it usually is. I mean, this side has like virtually no. It looks really faint. Virtually no, virtually none. I think still looks pretty great. After 10 hours, it's not breaking down anywhere. Overall, I think this side of my face looks a little bit almost oily. And since being off Accutane, my skin doesn't get oily. So it's kind of rare that I look a little bit greasy almost. So comparing the NYX and the Tatcha one, I think I would just splurge and get the Tatcha one if you're gonna get one. Do I think the Tatcha one right now is worth $52? I feel like I can't really say after one use. I'm gonna keep trying it. This video is actually going up at least a week after I'm filming it right now. So I will update you guys in the description box after I've used it a few more times what I think of it, if I do think it's worth the $52, because I'll definitely keep trying it with other foundations and stuff. Right now, I'm really liking it. I feel like this is one of the few primers that I can actually like see a difference when it first goes on and throughout the day, which is rare. And keep in mind, I didn't use a setting spray today at all. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I took off the romper. The romper life is not for me. Neither is the eyelash life. But if you guys enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up. It helps me out and I appreciate it. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.